All right, so by popular request, here I am, me and my bird. It is 2:10 a.m. Christmas morning, 12/25, 2023. Let me play an intro, and I'll be right back. Whoops. Okay, so here I am. Hi, sweetie. How are you? I know you're just right upstairs, actually right over there. But so here I am. I'm live. We're live. Um, I want to go do this because I forgot to do this the other live Friday night. So we'll go over this case here. This is Brian Walsh. He's being accused of unaliving his wife down here in Massachusetts, and apparently his attorney um, quit. His private attorney quit. So maybe I did do this Friday night. I'm not sure, but let's check it out. So he's quite the piece of crap. He's being accused of uh, making his wife go missing. This happened. I think this happened last year, actually. Uh, Massachusetts father Brian Walsh is accused of unaliving his wife, Anna Walsh, on New Year's Eve. That's right, New Year's Eve 2023. Walsh now has a court-appointed attorney. His private attorney reportedly withdrew because he's indigent. What does that mean? All right, well, here, I'll play this. Yeah, it could be just us here. But let's play this. You got to notice the heavy Massachusetts accent here. So let's go.
I think we are kind of just holding hands in all of this and just trying to get along and get through it. it's a tough thing to have happen in your town, and you don't want the town to have any sort of reputation of something like this because it's so not like Cohasset.
It's very disturbing, very heart-wrenching that this happened.
So apparently he has a lot of other issues going on. I think he stole some or tried to sell some private photo art or whatever he's accused of. I forget what they call that. But anyways, he apparently went out and bought a whole bunch of well, you'll hear it.
This family and these poor children, and I think the community's coming together and trying to do something to support them, and that's the best they can do. It's really a tragedy.
The folks at Cohasset up in Massachusetts talking about a man named Brian.
So that means needy, right? So indigent means needy. So now he's claiming he has no money. So now he's saying he needs a court-appointed attorney, which is hard to believe, but it's possible.
Brian Walsh. Take a look at Brian Walsh. 47 years old, father of 3, but is accused of murdering his wife January 1st, 2023. By the way, he was already on house arrest at the time for selling some fake Warhols. Paintings. Yeah, this guy's a character and a half. Matt Johnson has more tonight.
No comment from Brian Walsh after he was charged with the murder of his wife, Anna Walsh, the missing Massachusetts mother of 3 young boys. And while he's not talking...
I mean, these poor kids now, these kids have to go, their mother's missing, and now the father is just probably going to be severing the rest of his life in prison. I don't know what's going to happen with the kids.
Prosecutors are piecing together a timeline of what they say he was doing in the days after her disappearance. Prosecutors
Yeah, I think I did play this Friday night.
say that Anna Walsh was last seen here at her Cohasset home on New Year's Day. Anna was last seen at home between 4 and 5 a.m. by a family member. Walsh told police that he had slept in that morning, but prosecutors say that he was actually awake and searching disturbing topics on his son's iPad.
At 4:55 a.m. on January 1st, he searched how long before a body starts to smell.
The very next day, more Google searches.
There were also more Google searches on January 2nd. At 12:45 p.m., Pat saw best tool to dismember. At 1:10 p.m., can he be charged with murder without a body? At 1:14 p.m., can you identify a body with broken teeth?
Prosecutors say that on January 2nd, Walsh came here.
And what is wrong with people? Do you think nobody's going to look to see what you search? People are just really dumb. I really believe they're dumb. Like, how long does it take for jeez. I'm not saying he's guilty from that. I'm just saying it's kind of bizarre that you have somebody looking up all of that stuff. As soon as his wife goes missing, it's
here to this Home Depot store, located in Rockland, Massachusetts, 9 miles from his house. He spent $450 on cleaning supplies.
Items included cleaning products, mops, brushes.
On January 3rd, prosecutors say Walsh drove to an apartment complex in Abington, 16 miles from his home, where they say surveillance video shows him hoisting a heavy garbage bag into a dumpster. At 4:48 p.m., prosecutors say Walsh drove to a second apartment complex in Abington. And at 5:10 p.m., investigators say he threw items away into a dumpster in...
If he didn't do this, I'm Santa. Literally, like this guy, in my opinion, is pretty guilty.
Brockton. Then on January 6th and 7th, police searched the Walsh property in Cohasset. Prosecutors collected a lot of evidence in the basement of this home, including DNA blood evidence and 2 knives. On January 8th, Walsh was arrested for misleading police in his wife's missing person investigation. The next day, he was arraigned and pled not guilty. Then on January 17th, prosecutors announced that he would be charged with her murder. The next day, he was back in court.
The defendant is now before the court charged with murder of his wife, Anna Walsh, as well as disinterring of a body.
All right, folks, the next hearing is March 4th, but a big development in court today. Lawyer announcing that he's run out of money and he's indigent, so now he needs a new attorney. Let's bring back in our think tank. Darnell Crossland, you're going to be back in the mainland anytime soon?
Well, not for pro bono, Vinny.
Well, I mean, you might be able to squeeze a few fake war halls out of them.
Pretty proud of myself. I was able to figure out how to do this banner. Look at this. I did it.
So does he have any defense, Darnell? I mean, I'm looking at this case.
This guy's in Antigua.
You've got blood evidence in the basement. You've got him running around throwing garbage out all over Massachusetts. Looks a little problematic.
Well, I'm from Connecticut, and we got something going on for the.
Hello, Jocelyn. How are you? Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. I just figured I'd come on here. My chores are done for a little while, so I got a little bit of time. I know it's probably not the right thing to do, come on Christmas morning, but well, we're just going over this Brian Walsh case here again, and then I'm going to play some other things.
So Dulos case, sort of, and it's just shockingly reminiscent. So, they're going to have to, find out what he was discarding and what connections the stuff that he discarded has to his wife or to his wife's murder and to him. So far it looks bad, but I haven't seen the so-called smoking gun yet. So we have to wait and see.
So I think she's from either one of the Baltic states, Serbia or somewhere.
Al, you ran out of money. You surprised?
No, not surprised at all. And, I mean, this is a lesson to everyone. Don't look up stupid things on the internet. I mean,
that's what I just said. Like, I mean, he was looking up, how to dispose of a body. Good Lord. Oh, you're sick? Oh, that's horrible. I feel bad for you. That sucks. I hope you feel better. You're at work? Oh, it sucks.
and this is just unbelievable. The question,
Well, he used his son's iPad. No one's going to look there.
No one looks there. That would be the last place I'd look if it's the Keystone cops that are investigating this. But I mean, to do that, and also to put that evidence on his kid's iPad is even more of a horrendous action on his part.
Jennifer
What's he
Brand?
gonna do? Blame the kid?
Yeah, Jennifer Brand. What happens to the children now? Mom is missing, and Dad's facing murder here. Do they have a chance?
Yeah, it's tragic. No, they really don't have a chance. Hopefully, there is some family member, maybe a member of Mom's family, who will take them in and will raise them, because it looks like he will probably not get out of jail if things go as it seems that they will go.
Yeah, this guy ain't going anywhere.
You never know, but to the extent that he's in prison, they will be living with some other family member or somebody who is willing to take them in. And it's so sad, because now, both parents, they don't have either parent. Their mom is gone and their father is in a lot of trouble. So.
Yep.
Yeah, you think? I mean, he's, if he wasn't out shopping for like cleaning products and shovels and pitchforks, and the problem is they'll probably never find her down there. That's for sure. He could have hit her anywhere. All right, so I want to go to this. This is going to be called the fastest verdicts of the year, and this is going to come from Court TV. So these are some of the fastest verdicts that came in this year, and I'm assuming Alex Murdaugh is one of them, because I think that was 45 minutes.
Today we're highlighting some of Court TV's fastest verdicts of the year. Coming in at number 3 with just under 2 hours of jury deliberations, the car crash vigilante trial.
I agree. The kids are, that's who I feel bad for. Obviously the wife, but the kids for sure.
And when you got on the phone with 911, you stated that he had pulled the trigger.
Yes.
And what else did you state?
To her, I had told her that he had just pulled the trigger on my gun. And I remember kind of looking around and I noticed behind me that there was someone who was standing behind me, and I asked them if they seen everything, if they would stay to, be a witness. And he was asking like if we were okay. He's like, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" And I told him, I said, I mean, I am, but no, he's not.
Hannah Payne was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole plus 13 years after a jury found her guilty of fatally shooting a man during a traffic dispute. She was 21 years old at the time. Number 2 is the tortured son murder trial.
People of the state of Michigan versus Shanda Van Ark, count 1, charging open murder involving the death of Timothy Ferguson. We find her guilty of first-degree felony murder. Count 2, first-degree child abuse. We find her guilty of first-degree child abuse.
Now, a jury deliberated for an hour and 29 minutes in that case before finding Shanda Vander Ark guilty of killing her teenage son with special needs.
The limited number of photos she had of her son were deemed too graphic to be released to the public. Timothy Ferguson was found dead and severely.
It was like an hour and 20 minutes. That's pretty guilty right there.
Malnourished inside the family's home in 2022. Vander Ark's defense attorney said this case was difficult even for him.
And drum roll, please.
1986. This is the worst case I've ever handled. And it's not even, I've handled cases with serial murders. This is the worst case I've ever handled. You do your job. The facts were terrible. The outcomes were worse. You do your job. You come in there, and your job is to represent this woman and to press for her point of view, and that's what you do. If you do that, the prosecutor does that, and the jury does their end, and the judge does his end, justice gets done in the end, and that's the objective. Now comes the time where you have to sleep after the end. I mean, once you do all the intellectual stuff, the emotionality of it kicks in, and you got to sit down and you got to sleep with these facts and those images that are forever in my mind.
And number 1, give me a drum roll, please. Yes. The pregnant niece murder trial.
There will always be an element of my life that will be permanently missing. That element is Ayanna Sawyer.
I can't believe Alex Murdaugh didn't make it.
Our lives were so intertwined. Everywhere we went, we were asked if we were twins. In fact, you would rarely see one Sawyer sister without the other. However, now you will never see me or my sister together. With every accomplishment bringing great sadness, for every congratulations, the thought that I should not be my mother's first child to graduate, attend college, or move into an apartment crosses my mind. It's extremely difficult to step into my childhood bedroom and see one bed where there used to be 2.
That was the sister of Ayanna Sawyer at her killer's sentencing. The jury in this case deliberated.
Oh, that sucks.
For under 1 hour. The body of the 16-year-old victim was never found, but the jury still convicted her uncle of both her murder and the murder of her unborn child.
Oh, I think I remember hearing about this one. Didn't this one happen a few years ago, and they had the trial this year?
According to police, he was the baby's father.
The jury found the defendant guilty of first-degree murder as charged in the indictment. We find the defendant did actually possess and discharge a firearm during the commission of the offense.
Now, a judge ultimately sentenced Jonathan Quiles to 3 life sentences after a jury recommended life without parole. All right, let's bring in our guest, still with.
Good. That's very good. I want to go to this next because this was bizarre. This is about 7 hours ago. This was in, hold on a second. This is family finds body in freezer of Allied Gardens home. This is in San Diego. So let's check this out. Yep. What an ass face. I agree. So let's see what's going on with this. A visiting family found a body inside of a freezer in a home of the Allied Guards neighborhood of San Diego. That story and more. Here we go.
This is San Diego News Daily.
Hello and welcome to San Diego News Daily. I'm Jackie Crea. Let's get to some news. An apartment fire this morning has left multiple people needing to find a place to stay right ahead of Christmas. According to the battalion chief, the apartment was burning when fire crews arrived. It started around 6 a.m. 5 adults, 7 kids were displaced. The only person inside the apartment was able to escape. Sadly, the cat inside did not survive. The cause of the fire is currently under investigation. A woman is dead after driving her car off a ramp on the 94 freeway, then crashing onto another car, sparking an explosion. Police say the woman driving a Mini Cooper was taking the transition ramp from the eastbound 94 towards the 15 North.
Damn Mini Coopers, right?
When for unknown reasons, she flew off the freeway, landing on a car below that was heading westbound on the 94. That car had 2 people inside. Witnesses pulled the 2 people inside to safety, but the woman driving the Mini Cooper died on impact. Right now, it's unknown if drugs or alcohol were.
All right, let's go to this actual story here.
2 for dog bites, the other for asthma-related issues. And we're following a developing story out of the Allied Gardens area where someone was found dead in a freezer. Police say the woman's body was found inside a home by visiting family members. And now investigators and neighbors are looking for answers. NBC7's Kelvin Henry has details on this disturbing find.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely concerning.
An investigation into a dead body is what many in the Allied Gardens community are speaking about.
Just the house was draped in tape, you know, the yellow caution or whatever it is, tape, and there were 5 police cars.
According to investigators, it all started just before noon on Friday. Officers from SDPD's Eastern Division responded to a call on Zion Avenue in Allied Gardens to investigate a death. Visiting family members discovered a dead body inside of a freezer and called police. The details are eye-opening to people in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's a little shocking, a little alarming, I would say. Stuff like that usually probably wouldn't happen in a neighborhood like this.
Some people say the incident is so concerning, it is causing them to change their behavior.
We do have some security cameras around our house here, so I'd say that's definitely a good start. We'd probably take a little bit more caution, probably nighttime, locking the doors up, just trying to keep safe and make sure that doesn't happen to anybody I would know.
Investigators say due to the state of the body, it remains unclear if there was a traumatic injury. They say the cause of death is unknown at this time, and it will be determined by the medical examiner's office. The person is believed to be a woman, but other details cannot be confirmed until an identification is made. Kelvin Henry, NBC7.
NBC7's meteorologist Brooke Martell
Okay,
have a look at
so
your.
that's that. I thought there was more to that than that because can you imagine going for ice cream and finding a body in a freezer? Hey, Karen, how are you? It's Karen Lee. Happy holidays, kiddo. I haven't seen you forever. So let's see, what are we going to do next? I hope everybody's having a good early Christmas day. This happened about an hour ago, so I want to go to this here. This was out in everything really weird happens in California this time of the night. So, all right, so let me share this here. This is some guy barricaded himself in a house after a domestic violence thing here.
Start with breaking news in Hermosa Beach. A family dispute turns into a domestic violence incident, and tonight the suspect is barricaded inside a home there. Skycap over the scene on 11th Street.
Yeah, this has been going on since 3:30 this afternoon. About an hour into the standoff, the home caught fire. You see some of the smoke there and those fire crews putting water on it. They have been hosing this down for several hours. Police say the other family members, though, made it out.
with no serious injuries. But you see this pretty large home, or at least a complex, and very close to other neighboring homes as well. So they've had an impact. Take a listen.
The officers made attempts to talk to him. He was not, we were not successful in doing so. And we did believe, based on the circumstances at the time, that he was armed with a firearm. So we.
Yeah, I was watching Santa Tracker 2. Apparently, a little while ago, it was just over Connecticut. So he probably, I don't know where he is now. I could probably find out.
He backed up. We surrounded the location and we tried to get him to come out safely.
Well, as of right now, they're trying to contact that suspect. We know several homes nearby have been evacuated. You can see fire crews on scene there earlier tonight. Really, this is a large crime scene through this Hermosa Beach neighborhood. Stay with KCAL News throughout the night for the latest on this breaking story.
Also, some more breaking news here.
Okay, so let's do this. This is, hold
We
on.
want to turn now.
Hold on, let's, this is going to be a little triggering here, so let me put this back up here. So there's that. This is going to be a little triggering here, so let's go back here.
To disturbing sex.
So this guy here is accused of drugging and essaying an 11-year-old in a Dolphin Mall family restroom. What a piece of dog shit. Oh my God. He was arrested Monday on a charge of sexual battery on a minor by an adult. Ugh.
Crime allegation, and this is against an 11-year-old girl. Miami-Dade police say that this happened in a family restroom at Dolphin Mall when a man allegedly drugged and then raped the victim. NBC6 anchor Chris Hush live with us from Miami-Dade Police headquarters with the story. Chris, you just spoke with police about this disturbing case. What are they telling you?
Yeah, it's disturbing indeed. The suspect, a 33-year-old man who is accused of taking this 11-year-old girl, as you said, into a restroom at Dolphin Mall and then giving her a marijuana edible before sexually battering her in that family restroom.
How does this freaking happen?
Judge today ordering he be held in jail on no bond, giving the facts of this case.
Mr. Rivera, so you were arrested for sexual battery on a minor. It's from December 10th.
Buenos días, señor Rivero. Usted fue arrestado por agresión sexual a un menor. Esto viene del 10 de diciembre.
What?
So that judge goes on to say that these are really egregious facts. Judge Mindy Glazer also noting this crime could be punishable by life in prison if he's convicted. The suspect, David Rivero, is charged with sexual battery on a minor after police say he went to Dolphin Mall in Sweetwater on December 10th, giving the 11-year-old a marijuana gummy, then took her to the restroom where he sexually attacked her. Video surveillance helped Miami-Dade police identify and track down Rivero after the young victim told her mother, who then took her to the hospital. Shortly after that, police were called. Investigators say the mother had dropped off her daughter at the mall to meet up with a friend, leaving her alone there before Rivero is seen taking her into the family restroom where that attack happened. It is a disturbing crime that police want parents to be aware of.
You never know what's going to, or what may happen, to your child, to your loved one when they're unsupervised. So we remind them.
I can't get over it. Like, how does this happen? It's, oh my God.
If you're going to take your child somewhere and you are not going to be the person to watch them, try to ensure that there's some sort of supervision to make sure that there are no unsafe situations that may occur.
Like happened in this instance, Chris. What about the mother? Will she be facing any consequences here?
Yeah, so we asked this question to police today during that interview. They tell us that because of the circumstances of the case, they did contact DCF because an 11-year-old was involved in this incident. We reached out to DCF, the Department of Children and Families, to see if they are investigating this incident here. We have yet to hear back. For now, I'm Chris Usher, live outside of Miami-Dade Police Headquarters, NBC 6 News.
That's just unbelievable. I just can't. I don't understand. Whoops, how this happens to people. I just don't. Oh, it's just so horrible. Yeah, I just. People are psychotic. It's just really bad. All right, what else was I going to do? Let's go here. I want to do this to. I don't know if anybody heard about the shooting down in Ocala, so I'll play that. I think that happened. Did that happen today? I think it happened yesterday. Not sure. It's always good to see Karen here. Hope you're doing well, Karen. Haven't seen you in forever.
The suspected gunman who shot 2 people, killing 1 inside a mall in Ocala yesterday, has now been identified. Good evening and thanks for joining us this Christmas Eve. I'm Hannah McKenzie. This wanted poster was just released in hopes someone will turn this suspect in. A $5,000 reward is now up for grabs, so take a good look. Ocala police say this is 39-year-old Albert Schell Jr. He's wanted for premeditated murder and attempted premeditated murder. Ocala PD also released this previous mugshot of Schell. We're about to see it now, hopefully. In that mugshot, though, he is smiling. Schell is now accused of shooting a man and a woman at the Paddock Mall yesterday. The gunfire sending crowds of panicked shoppers running. Police say the woman was shot in the leg. She will survive. The man died at the scene. Investigators say the couple was Schell's intended targets. The Paddock Mall was evacuated yesterday and remained closed today. It will not.
Sounds almost like it was a hired thing. Was that what that sounds like? Why would somebody just do that?
Reopen until after Christmas. Ocala Mayor Ben Marciano posted a video to Facebook addressing what happened.
The Ocala Police Department received a distressing call reporting a shooting at the Paddock Mall with multiple shots fired. Responding to the call, our dedicated first responders acted swiftly, deploying a significant police presence and bravely entering the mall to address what we initially believed to be an active shooter. As we now know, it was determined that there was no active shooter, but a shooting had occurred. Regrettably, 1 man was found deceased and a woman was taken to the hospital with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound.
Yeah, this sounds a little weird.
As we grapple with the aftermath, our thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their families.
Alrighty, and now here is some video from viewer Iris Negron. She tells us she took this as she ran outside of the mall, and she was finally able to reunite with her husband and daughter, who she'd been separated from in that chaos. Negron says that they were only about 50 feet away from the shooting. After that shooting, though, investigators say a piece of key evidence is missing. There's a red hat worn by the gunman. You can see it on those stills right now on your screen. This was apparently taken by someone at the scene. Police say they need that hat back as it's likely to have DNA evidence that can tie the suspect to his crimes. If you have this hat or know who does, turn it over to Ocala Police.
All right, so let's do this here. Get some more information on this. Whoops.
I do want to get to some of the headlines that we have been following here on Live Now from Fox, and one of them is Amanda. I want to bring in Ocala Police Chief Mike Balkin joining us live to discuss the latest information and what we know so far and what is still left to figure out. Chief, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us.
Of course. Thanks for having me this morning.
Of course. Well, first off, the big question, can you break down for us what we know here about this deadly shooting?
Yeah, we received a phone call or started getting 911 emergency calls at about 3:40 p.m. yesterday to the Paddock Mall here in Ocala. It was in regards to an active shooter. So we had a multitude of officers respond to very heavy police presence. Officers responded quickly. Within a minute, we had police on scene and immediately made entry into the mall. What we found was that this wasn't exactly an active shooter that was unfolding. This appears to have been a targeted incident wherein two individuals became involved in a physical altercation with one ultimately producing a handgun, firing multiple rounds, hitting not only the victim, killing him, but also hitting an innocent bystander in the leg. She was transported to local hospitals being treated, expected to recover fully. That offender fled the scene prior to police.
Okay, so this is how dumb I am, right? Like, this has happened twice now in the past couple of days where my partner, my wife, told me something and it just flew right by me, right? And I wasn't paying attention. I'm like, okay, ha. So the other night, it's just this morning, actually, she's like, you might want to go get cigarettes for the week because everything's going to be closed for Christmas. And I'm like, ha, 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 right? So I didn't pay attention, didn't listen. So I don't know. I was watching the game tonight, and I think I'll just go out and get cigarettes after. I take a shower, go out and do what I have to do. And sure enough, as I'm driving along, I'm like, hey, wait a minute, nothing's going to be fucking open tonight because everything's going to be closed. So I ended up having to go, I don't know, an hour out of my way. Just oh my god,
He's arriving and
squirrel. Sorry,
we're still working through that investigation. We've had officers, detectives on scene around the clock, and they continue that work, trying to deal with the evidence side of things and hopefully bring this case to really a successful conclusion as quick.
Yeah, Jocelyn, I have it really bad. It's just terrible. It's
as least we possibly can.
What do we know at this point about the victim and the suspect? Again, I know not a lot of information can necessarily be released because you want to make sure that you are keeping some information close to the vest. But what can you tell us about the victims and the shooter?
Yeah, I can tell you the victim is David Barron. He's a 40-year-old Marion County resident, lives here in Ocala. The suspect was a black male. We know that. He was dressed in a black hoodie, black pants, and fled the scene again on foot before we got there. I don't want to go into a great deal of detail about the suspect at this point in time because I don't want to jeopardize the integrity of that case. But we're still working through the victimology on the side of Mr. Barron, our victim, to try and figure out exactly what took place, what the argument that led to this physical altercation, how this went down, and really learn the facts of the case and what we're looking at. I think the big story here, quite frankly, is there was a lot of misinformation that was put out or spreading around social media very early on that this was an active shooter, different locations. Simply not the case. This wasn't a random shooter that was indiscriminately trying to hurt people. He was certainly trying to target our victim. That's been made painfully clear to us by not only witnesses that were on the scene that watched this happen, but also video surveillance evidence that we have as well.
And it is important to make that distinction because you have people who are shopping there for Christmas, doing some last minute shopping, maybe hear a gunshot, don't know what's going on, and immediately think active shooter. They start posting it on social media. People out there see it. And like you said, it just kind of spreads from there. How do you go about?
Yeah, I'm pretty dumb. That's about 45 minutes away from my mom's house. That's in Ocala. That's more towards the center part of the middle part of it. It's about, I don't know, 25 or 30 minutes from Gainesville.
About as a police department responding to reports of an active shooter? Because I know that these come out a lot and they aren't necessarily always the case. You don't necessarily always have actual gunshots there. So how do you go about responding to something like this?
Yeah, these are different.
Karen's awesome. Like when I first started my channel, I'm like, hey, she's a fantastic moderator. She's just like, hey, can you please mod? I don't know.
difficult situations with the day and age of social media, trying to deal with this misinformation. Obviously not intentional on the part of the folks that were there, but they're hearing things or witnessing things and really don't have a full understanding of what's unfolding. So, we've been very effective at dealing with that misinformation through our social media ourselves and trying to, confirm.
This is really weird, though. That this guy here just attacked these two people. I don't know if there's any information on this, but it just seems a little bit more than just a regular shooting spree here.
From the facts as they are, and try to just maintain some kind of semblance of what's really taking place to ensure the public knows what's going on, right, in a timely manner, so they know how to keep themselves safe. Shelter in place sometimes is key. Some of that happened here at the mall yesterday. So, a lot of that's combated through social media on our end as well.
Good night. I'll see you in about, 3 hours.
And I know when I think of Ocala, I think of horse capital of the world. It's something that I've heard many times. Do you get concerned? Does the city get concerned that a situation like this could tarnish the reputation of Ocala in any way?
Yeah, look, there's not a chief or a sheriff around the country that wants to have an active shooter or a shooting take place anywhere in their jurisdiction, much less at a crowded shopping mall during the holiday season, right? Not something that we want to see ever happen. But look, we've seen these types of cases come up in very small townships across the country to some of the biggest major metropolitan.
I mean, I don't know the specifics of this here, but this does seem a little bit weird to me. I don't know about you guys, but
areas in the country. So not something we want. Certainly we want to get those facts out again, that this was isolated. This was not an active shooter with indiscriminate shooting. This was a targeted incident. And unfortunately they do happen. They're very hard to prevent with a lack of intelligence that is available before these things unfold. So, the fact of the matter is Ocala, Marion County, Florida is an extremely safe place to live, work, and play. We enjoy a very safe community.
Ocala is beautiful. That whole entire area is like wonderful.
We've got a lot of support, not only from our elected officials, but the folks that live here. We demand, expect law and order in our community. We're going to ensure that happens in this case as well.
And for people who aren't necessarily familiar with the location of Ocala within Florida, tell me where it is located and what kind of area we're talking about.
Yeah, so Ocala is located in Marion County, Florida. Marion County is the fifth largest geographical county in the state of Florida. We're about 60 miles due west of Daytona Beach, 60 miles northwest of Orlando. So, Ocala is the county seat.
Yeah, it's just really weird how somebody would do this in the middle of the day, right? If they're not suspicious that this is just like a random, like a regular random active shooter here.
The major metropolitan or rural, it's a rural county, but we're the major work area for the county, and we've got a resident population of about 70,000. The county-wide population is about 400. So our citizenship that we police swells to about 250,000 people Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. But again, somewhat rural outside of Ocala proper, but a thriving horse community. Thriving business hub for sure, with a lot of distribution centers and things like that.
All right. Ocala Police Chief Mike Balkin, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and provide the latest details. Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
No, I just want to, certainly stress to any of the viewers out there that, our community's safe, that our detectives continue to work this case. We've got some of the best and brightest in the force working on this case, and I expect them to bring it to a successful closure very soon. And our hearts and prayers go out to the victims in this case. Certainly the young man that died, his family. It couldn't be the worst time of the year. You never want to see it, but certainly not around the holidays. So we'll be thinking about them, and rest assured that we're going to work on this until we get it closed.
Right around Christmas, I mean that's got to make it even worse. Good Lord. All right, so I wanted to play this, and I don't think I'm going to play the whole thing, but I've been following this too for the last few days or so. This is very bizarre here. This is going on in Virginia. I don't think I'm going to play the whole thing, because this is like 42 minutes. But so these are mysterious deaths that leave dark cloud over one small Virginia town. 3 suspicious deaths that leads to 3 more cases in Lunenburg, Virginia. So let's do this.
It's scary that someone in this town is killing our young men.
Murders that happen down there and they're never solved.
Everybody that they find down there, they find them in the woods. They're happening back to back.
A lot going on in this town, but don't nobody talk about it.
But what if it was your kid? What if it was your grandson?
When you hear something like that in this area, you go, Nuremberg? Here?
The whole case is bizarre. I mean, I don't even know where you want to start at.
He got shot in the back, he got dismembered.
Both arms and both legs.
In a shallow grave, he had lye poured on top of him.
This is probably one of the worst homicides, not just in this county, but in the state of Virginia.
What in the world could you do for a person to do that to another person?
17 years old, he didn't deserve this. He was still a kid trying to find his way.
Antonio Rich, his body was actually discovered by a VDOT crew working in the area.
This should have not been his final resting place, on the side of the road in the bushes, like he was nothing.
He was 19 years old and been shot.
I'm going to be taking up this case here within the next few weeks here.
Several times.
You know, I already knew when I opened the door, I knew it was them, that it was my son. My son did not kill himself.
It just don't make sense.
Why were there 6 people at the apartment complex and no one asked them questions?
See, there's just like, it's just too much to, like, there's just so many cases. You could just, we need more people in this business here, because there's just so many cases that just go untalked about.
6 people in the house.
Somebody knows something.
Why was his pockets rifled through?
And why would I take my clothes off, take my phone and my money and put it somewhere?
So they got a lot of questions.
Please just tell me what happened to my son. That's all I want to know.
I want justice.
They got a whole lot of murders down there unsolved.
They need to act on this now. Every single case in Lunenburg County.
We reached out to the town manager of Kinbridge, Victoria Police, the new police chief, the mayor of Kinbridge. We sent multiple.
Yeah, I heard about this a few months ago, and then I just finally saw something about it just now, actually, because this was done December 19th. So, yeah, I'll be looking into this for sure.
Requests to the sheriff's department. All of those organizations basically doing this.
Somebody out there knows something.
The town is small.
There's people that knows what happened to my son. It's too small not to know.
We're all family. Like, we grew up in Center Street together. All of us.
I'm sorry that this happened to you, but I will get justice for you. I just want answers for my son.
So this is, hold on a second. Give me a second here. Do a map of this here really quick. So this is Lunenburg here, and this looks like it's in the middle of nowhere in Virginia. This is down towards, so it's it's out of it's I don't know, is that like about an hour, half an hour from 95 here in Emporia? If I haven't heard of this, then I mean, this is a small place here. Yeah, I've probably never been through here because I wouldn't have. Like usually when we go down south, we go down either 95 or the Truckers Road here. So I wouldn't have. But this is out of in the boondocks over there. I don't know if anybody's been down there before, but all right, let's go back to this here. I just wanted to get a location of that. Yes, yes, it does.
And I want answers for my family. I wasn't ready for him to go.
That's my baby. My baby.
There's a dark cloud that's been hovering.
I swear by elderberries. I don't know if you've ever had elderberries. Hey, Charlotte. How are you, Charlotte? Merry Christmas. Is Christmas over for you now? Is it after Christmas morning? Elderberries are great. They're just wicked expensive, so I can't keep buying them all the time, but I believe they work.
Over this small Virginia town of about 12,000 people. And some folks are terrified at the storm that's brewing after a child's dismembered body.
When I get sick, I just down orange juice. I don't know if it does any good, but that's what I do.
Was found along this isolated and narrow road.
We have been passing out flyers, just trying to get the word out because we really do feel like nothing is being done.
Should no family have to go through this?
There are thousands of...
I love Virginia. Virginia looks just like New Hampshire, just bigger. But there's some beautiful hills and mountains in here. Virginia, I love Virginia.
Cold cases in Virginia, and only 1% ever get solved.
I feel like nobody's looking for him. Like we're the only ones wondering where he's at. What happened?
They feel like their child or their loved ones just become a number.
And it's been 3 years, and we probably will never find him. But we would like closure as to what happened to him.
Too often, the victims aren't heard. Their voices aren't carried.
These are the faces of loved ones who suffered some of the most violent crimes or disappeared without a trace. Their families are still waiting for answers. On this Crime Insider Reopen the Case documentary, we focused on 3 cases, all here in Lunenburg County. 3 young black males, all connected to Center Street. And during that investigation, we discovered 3 additional suspicious deaths. All 6 have surprising connections.
I miss everything about him. Everything. I miss him a lot. It's a struggle on a day-to-day basis. You know, people say take it one day at a time. I actually take it 1 second at a time. Because I'm forced to just deal with it. But I still have to go.
This stuff here just makes me very, just angry. You just want to, try to do the best you can for these people and try to find some answers. It's just horrible.
I want to get justice for him. And that's a promise. I wake up every morning and I make sure I tell him I'm sorry that this happened to you, but I will get justice for you.
Well, 17-year-old Sion Carroll went missing November 2nd of 2022. His body found in a shallow grave, dismembered about 10 days later, actually on this road you see here behind me.
Both arms and both legs.
Dismembered, so that's not just, I don't think that's random.
Both arms and both legs was dismembered. And he had a lot of chop wounds, I guess, from them trying to dismember him.
Sion Carroll was last seen at his grandmother's house near Center Street.
He was down there for like 4 months because he was. In some trouble up here, but they found out that he didn't, wasn't in. So they asked me, could I take custody of him to keep him from up here around all of this? So I agreed with the courts and got him down there. And he was doing fine. Just kept telling him stay from down there, hanging with those guys and stuff.
This might be my next deep dive here of these cases here.
They had some sort of an argument earlier in the night about jackets that were on the floor.
Then about an hour later, he came in there. He was like, Grandma, I'm sorry. And he went on outside where he always go outside and walk around the yard smoking his black and mild because I wouldn't let him smoke in the house.
This was what time of night when you guys?
It was about 9 or 10.
So by 1 a.m. was he outside or?
I don't know. I went to sleep. And when I got up that morning, I went back there in the room because I usually wake him up to get him ready, for the meet the van out there.
This is a beautiful house. Look at this house.
And I said, well, maybe he already, went out there in the court the van. So I didn't think nothing else of it. So I went on, got ready, went to work, came back home. And I was like, he usually be in the house by the time I get off work. So I called the school and they said they hadn't seen him.
Grandfather Junius was very involved in Sion's life. They had a very good relationship.
The boys ran the store said that last time they seen Sion, he was at the shed with them boys. And then the shed burned up. Come on now, something wrong. And you could see the black ran the door, but the shed won't burn down.
Wow.
There was a fire on the inside of it.
It kind of ramped up a couple of days later when they put out information online.
With them boys. And then the shed burned up. Come on now, something wrong. And you could see the black ran the door. But
is that a generator right there? That looks like a generator, power generator.
The shed won't burn down. There was a fire on the inside of it.
It kind of ramped up a couple of days later when they put out information online that Sion's phone was pinging near a sex offender's house on Poorhouse Road.
One of the phones that he had was an iPhone, but it didn't have service. But it was my oldest son's old iPhone. And he did the Find My.
Hope you are well, Charlotte. Hope everything's going okay. Yeah, Charlotte's in England or Great Britain.
iPhone, and the phone pinged where it pinged to. I went there. Nobody saw him, and then I started to receive messages stating that it was a tier 3 sex offender that lived at the home. So it was it's really awkward. So when I went there that Friday evening, they told me that he wouldn't have a reason to be down there. They don't know him.
Police came up then and told them they had to leave the property.
It was about 6 days after we assembled in Lunenburg with the search party, which was actually election day.
So a tier 3 sex offender means a sex offender whose offense is punishable by imprisonment for more than 1 year, and A is comparable to or more severe than the following offenses or an attempt or conspiracy to commit such an offense: aggravated sexual abuse, aggravated sexual abuse, or SA. Tier 3 is the highest, right? The highest. Tier 3 is the highest risk category for the most severe SCs. Those convicted of Tier 3 offenses must maintain their registration for life. So this was a bad guy.
Okay.
We began to walk down to the Poorhouse Road location. In the midst of us walking, we were stopped by an officer that was driving a Dodge Charger, a gray one, and he introduced himself as Officer Barnes. And I asked him, he asked me, did I need any help? I said, well, you can help us look for Sion. So he told me that to come closer to his vehicle. And he said, I've been looking for Sion all day. Come closer, come take a look. When I approached the car, I seen like brush and dirt and maybe some leaves on his lap, and he kind of gave it a little brush like, yeah, I've been looking for him. So me looking at him like, well, we're walking and we don't look like that. So how do you get brush and leaves and dirt on your lap in a car?
And I said, hey, I have a question. Why hasn't anyone went into the home when there's a known sex offender that lives here and you don't need a warrant to go inside of this home? And he proceeds to tell me that he's not
1997.
technically considered a sex offender. Something about he was just in the car with someone and the girl, and that's how he got the charge, but technically he's not considered a sex offender. I said, well, he's registered on the sex offender registry. So how do you get registered on the sex offender registry without
Yeah, this other guy, this guy here, that they're talking about, is a pretty bad guy too.
being considered a sex offender?
For months after Sion's body had already been found, the sex offender was actually scrubbed from the registry. And that meaning every time I looked on the sex offender registry for this sex offender.
You got it made there, Charlotte. She's gonna go to the beach and take the dogs for a walk. Yep, Mr. Claus is ready for me, that's for sure. I hope everybody has a great rest of the day, that's for sure. It's a good time of the year for sure.
He was not there. He was not listed at that address that he was listed at, or was he in the system at all? And we've since learned that's not supposed to happen.
Any person required to register or re-register to verify his registration shall be required to register until the duty termination of court. The Tier 3, this is a bad guy here.
I did go back and forth via email with a state police representative about the sex offender being off the registry. And after 2 or 3 emails, I finally got a response saying it's part of the investigation. They can't comment.
Once we arrived to the house, as we stated, we went up to the door, began to knock on the door. No one answered the door. About maybe 5 minutes later, we were greeted by state police and Lunenburg police and also Cambridge police. Then they asked us to get off the property. They told us that they wanted.
It's miserable here. It's raining, miserable. I mean, most people will say at least it's not snowing, but at this time of the year around here, I'd rather have it snow than have this rain.
To see everybody who was driving.
It rained the other night. It rained last night. It was probably the slickest roads ever.
License and registration because we were illegally parked in the street.
At the same time, it's another lady that lives not too far from that house told us that her daughter was sitting on her back porch and she heard.
Karen, thank you very much. Karen's dealing with 2 different streams right now. I'm glad she pops in and out though. I'll be covering this case though. I'll be getting some more information on this case. These unalivings here shortly.
There's somebody in the woods screaming for help. And she called the police and they never showed up. Did y'all hear that one? Y'all hear about that? Yeah. We also searched her property too, but it was just too much land.
The most mysterious thing in this case is how Sion was found.
The chief at that time, as he told me, just had a feeling. So I deem it by the grace of God, he happened to be in the 200 block here of Seaway and came upon this area. And once again, further investigation found it to be a clandestine grave.
In the dark, out of his jurisdiction, on a hunch, 3:30 in the morning, the woods behind me.
How he find it? How did he find it? He was the.
You're in Pittsburgh? You lucky person. One of these days I'll get there.
Only one out there.
Just remembering some of the conversations that I had when I went there to meet with him. And every scenario he gave me that could have happened to my son had something to do with woods. every scenario. He gave me 3 scenarios. One of them including, he takes medicine. So the medicine that he take, I went to class and I know that one of the meds that he take, he possibly could have went in the woods and committed suicide. You telling the
Really?
mother that's looking for her son that he went in the woods and committed suicide?
A red flag went up. He resigned in the middle of an investigation in his town. In his town. That don't look good.
During the production of this documentary, we reached out several times to the former chief, Ben Barnes, and finally he did get back to us with a statement. We sent Ben Barnes a list of about 20 questions. He answered maybe 2 or 3 of them, and the rest, he said, were part of the state police investigation. Mr. Burkett, my resignation from the Kinbridge Police Department.
Several weeks prior to the disappearance of Sion Carroll.
On December 31st, 2022, was a decision I made several weeks prior to the disappearance of Sion Carroll. I chose to participate in the missing persons investigation in spite of my decision to leave the department. During the missing persons investigation, I searched several areas in the town of Kinbridge and Lunenburg County. During the course of the investigation, an anonymous tip was received that led the investigation to the Seaway area in Lunenburg County. The area was searched by myself and other law enforcement officers without result. I believed a further search of the area was needed. During the further search of the area, I discovered the location of the remains. Information about the anonymous tip was previously withheld to protect the tipster and the security of the investigation. I will defer any further inquiry you have to the agency investigating the homicide, the Virginia State Police. Happy holidays to you and yours, and good luck with your story. Ben Barnes. The whole damn case is bizarre. I mean, I don't even know where you want to start at. You know, one thing we learned after interviewing grandmother.
Yeah, North Carolina's gorgeous. I've been all over North Carolina for sure. Even in the mountains, they have some serious mountains out there.
Is when I asked her if I was the first media interview she had, she goes, media interview?
And I'll tell you, people don't think it does, but it can get cold in North Carolina.
The first interview I had, period. It is odd. Wait, you've never been interviewed by the special agent?
No.
So you never talked to Kevin Jordan?
No.
Interviews have been conducted in this investigation.
I've learned the hard way that when you leave Florida, you put lots of clothes on, no matter what, because especially during the winter months, because it can get absolutely freezing in North Carolina.
Some individuals have been interviewed more than once. We've actually had people that have voluntarily provided information.
So investigators hadn't interrogated her. And mind you, she is the last person that saw Sion alive. Brandon,
This is just bizarre. This is just a bizarre situation here. I'm going to shift to this one here. Hold on a second. Let's stop sharing that. It's this one here. Okay, let's try this one here.
Mystery that remains unsolved after more than a year. A Henrico mom makes the move to relocate her teen son to a relative's home in Lunenburg County for a change of pace and safety. The mother of 3 telling Crime Insider John Burkett and the Reopen the Case Foundation her plan backfired badly, and now she's suffering unimaginable grief.
When you have several kids, you never expect to have to live without one. I miss everything about him. So it's really rough. And she thought that he was just going outside to the backyard, but he never came.
We have been passing out flyers, just trying to get the word out because we really do feel like nothing is being done.
Yep, we'd love to have you here, Charlotte. One of these days, I'll get over to Britain. I know my wife has. My wife's been to Britain before. I haven't.
Leon's phone was pinging at a registered sex offender's home.
Red flag. What in the world could you do that bad for a person to do that to another person?
He was dismembered.
This was unique and like nothing I've seen before in my time with the state police and working homicide cases.
The chief of police in Kinbridge at the time, on a hunch, went to a spot off C Road and found his body.
How he find it? How did he find it? Whoever did it, God gonna take care of that.
This is going to be something I'm going to look into here. It's yeah, I say it every year, like 40s now, and like when it gets to be 40 and in this time of the year around here, it's like nice and warm, but you know, in October 40 was like cold. It's so weird. All right, I'm going to get the hell out of here. I wanted to come on and do a little live. I'm glad everybody came in. But it's what time is it now? It's 3:21. I've been on here. I can't believe I've been on here over an hour so far already. Kind of an impromptu live, but I'm going to look into this case here for sure. But I hope everybody has a great day. It's going to be over soon. I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and great holidays after this. Necessarily evil year. Sorry, man. Yeah, I wasn't even going to come on tonight. I'd like give people a break, you know. But my wife said, "Are you doing a live tonight?" I'm like, yeah, I guess I can. But who knows? Maybe I'll be on later today. I don't know. But I'm going to cover this case for sure. But again, I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. Great day today. I hope everybody gets a new saxophone. But I'm going to get the hell out of here. Thank you, Jocelyn, for coming in. Charlotte, Necessarily Evil. Sorry, man. Karen Lee was in here. My wife was in here. Heather, thank you. Hopefully she's sleeping. And who else was in here? I think that's it. But whoever was in here, thank you very much for coming in. And I'll see you guys all. More than likely, probably Friday night will be the live I do. But I might come on again and do if there's like anything breaking, I'll definitely come on. But I'll see you all later. Have a great day, and everybody stay safe.